Alright guys, so in this video we're checking out this new 5-inch frame design that I worked on with Ladrone Club, and this has been cut by CNCmadness. I've done previous videos and collaborations with Ladrone Club. I did a 3-inch design a while back here, so you can see this is the Colibri project, and it's sort of a lightweight, long flight time 3-inch for HD video. So I'll link that video down in the description if you guys want to check that out. From a while back, so if some of you guys are new, you probably don't even remember this, but I have done previous collaborations before with Ladrone Club, and he does a lot of designs. You've probably seen a lot of them on Facebook and Thingiverse. And there's no name for this design yet. It's kind of a strange design. I kind of not really sure what to call it. So looking for suggestions on some names. If you have anything based on what you see in this video, let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested to hear and see what you guys think of this and what you think would be a cool name for this frame. So it's a basic 5-inch design here. And by the way, if you want, to have custom frames cut, CNCmadness is a pretty good source for getting pretty good frames cut at pretty good prices. They are in Canada, but they do ship out of the US as well. If you're in the US, I think that they're right on the border of the Canada-US border, so you can get pretty quick shipping. I got these within probably less than a week, I think. And I actually had these for a long time, and I do apologize to CNCmadness. I wanted to get this video out earlier, but I just have been swamped with other projects. But I've got 2 frames here, and you'll find that when you look at the files on Thingiverse, you can probably have the plates and the arms cut to different thicknesses. So I just want to give you guys a look at the sort of the quality of the carbon that you're going to get from CNCmadness. Here's one of the sandwich plates. And then here's the main plate here. And these are cut in 1.5 millimeters thick. The frame that's built here, all the plates are 2 millimeters thick and the arms are 4 millimeters thick. Sort of more typical 5-inch design, but I wanted to sort of put together a lighter one, so I made all of these plates 1.5 millimeters. So this is the top plate here, that's this plate here you see. So there's 3 main plates. Those are all 1.5 millimeters, and then the arms are 3 millimeters thick on this alternative setup that I'm going to build with a different setup here. It's going to be, probably a fair amount lighter. Obviously, you are giving up some strength. They are using high quality carbon. It's even 3 millimeters, it doesn't bend at all. So obviously, any hard crash, anything can break. So, nothing can be taken for granted, but if you want to go for this sort of setup here where I've got these are the 2203 3000 kV motors from FPV Cycle, and the hole mount pattern for the motors is a 12 millimeter hole pattern, so you're going to need motors that fit that. Although you might change the design if you want something different. These are M2 holes at 12 millimeters. And my target for this design, being like a lightweight, not necessarily long range, but more longer flight times, is the 2004 motor, the 2004 motor. So I wanted to build one with a 2203 motor here with a little bit heavier, thicker plates. And I'll compare it later to this lighter setup in a future video, not in this one. But the sort of the main idea of this frame here, it's an H-style frame. As you can see, all the arms are the same. But the battery is in the back here, and it's on the bottom plate here. So this is the sort of the concept I was going for. And the back battery section here in the back is mainly for, it was designed with the lithium ion packs in mind. So this one here is the Align 4S 3000 milliamp hour lithium ion pack with the Sony VTC6 cells, and they make them in, I think, a 3-cell and a 2-cell as well. So with this 3000 kV motor, you can fly it on 4S, 3S, or even 2S. I've flown it on a 2S lithium ion pack as well. And it flies fine. I mean, this is not for acro or racing. This is for cruising around. This long top plate here is going to be good for something like maybe like putting like an Osmo Pocket or something like that on top, or some other kind of action camera. But with this long section here, you can put it like one of those little gimbal type cameras and get like sort of more, you know, what do you call those? Typical like Mavic Pro type drone videos if you want. But you can also put different camera mounts up here as well. That's you know, I haven't really figured out what to do in terms of camera mounts yet, because that's still a work in progress. But yeah, this whole top section here does, you know, leave a lot of options for what you can do in terms of carrying some sort of HD or 4K camera. And you probably will want to carry something here in the front to balance out the 4-cell battery in the back, because it is a little bit back heavy if you don't carry a camera here in the front, or some sort of like a GoPro that will balance it out and will, you know, make the motors not make the front or the back motors work too hard to carry the extra, because they, in this setup here with no action camera in the front, the 4-cell lithium ion pack is pretty heavy, and it's pretty back heavy in this setup here. So the rest of this build is fairly straightforward. So you have this sandwich plate at the bottom. As you can see, the main plate goes from the front to the back. It also carries the battery, and you can see the battery straps going through here, through this plate here, which is battery straps that go here and here. So this is the back section. This is where the lithium ion pack's going to go. So like in the rest of the part components here, you have basically, you can see, get a 20x20 or a whoop style section here for your flight controller, and you can do either a ESC flight controller 2-board stack, or a single like I did here in my example. And in the front you have 2 different spots for the Vista, or a 20x20 section here in the front for something else. Maybe if you want to go analog, you can do that. Now, I kind of had the Vista in mind for this, so I stuck it here like so, as you can see in the front, along with the DJI camera. And then that board there is just, I think it's the Beta FPV F7, the new F7 board, with the you can see it's got that plug right there that goes to the Vista. So it's a pretty simple build. And then you can see the motor wires going to the all-in-one flight controller, like so. And I did some zip ties here to hold the wires in place. In terms of a build, it's fairly simple. Nothing really too fancy about that. But I wanted to carry the battery, instead of like in the middle and up kind of up higher, I wanted to carry it in the back so that I could balance it out with a GoPro here in the front. And then I designed, I really wanted this. It had this whole design and had the lithium ion batteries in mind. You can use other batteries, of course, if you want, but this whole section back here was designed with the lithium ion packs to be the batteries to be used. So that's this kind of where this whole concept is going, is to carry this type of battery in the back. Now, in terms of flight time, what you're going to get with this is probably 30 to 35 minutes, depending on how you're flying and the kind of camera you're carrying. And in terms of the weight, it's pretty efficient if you're not really going crazy on the throttle, because it's just the 22 or 3 motor doesn't really expend a lot of current, and this doesn't weigh a whole lot. And with a fully charged 3,000 milliamp hour pack in the back here, you can fly for a pretty long time on this 5-inch setup. It's fairly efficient. So you could go pretty far if you want to put a crossfire on here. Obviously it's DJI, so you're just limited by your video length, so you can go pretty far if you want. But this is more for like, cruising a bigger area, and just, not having to land all the time if you don't want to. So obviously, like for a lot of people, flying for 30 minutes is pretty tough. Even for 20 minutes for me, it's pretty tough. So it's not intended, at least from my perspective, to fly for that long. And in terms of a continuous amount of time, you can do it if you want, but it's more like, well, I can fly, land, take a break, and then fly again without having to charge another battery or switch the battery out. So that's sort of the idea of this whole frame. Now, in terms of the build here, you are going to need some extra parts that aren't currently included in this frame setup here. So if you get the frame cut by CNCmadness, you're just going to get the carbon pieces. There's a lot of other hardware you're going to need. So you're going to need some M3 screws here. You can see on the top, so there's 8 here on top here, and there's let's see, there's 4 more here in the bottom, as well as these 2 here. There's a standoff, in the back here. So you're gonna need some 20mm standoffs. I think there's 6 that you're gonna need. So 3 on the side, 3 over here, and then you're gonna need some M3 screws. So you have these M3 screws here. I don't know the exact length of these offhand because it's gonna vary depending upon the thickness of the plates you're gonna use. So the screws that I'm using here for this build here is gonna be different from the thinner arms and plates that I have here on the right. So you're probably going to want to have a variety of different screws available to you in different lengths to build this out. So some of these, like you can see, these M3 screws, they go into the holding arms. There's like basically 2 of them that hold the arms together. One of them goes into a nut, and the other one goes into a press fit nut. So you're going to need, I think 4 of these press fit nuts are from FPV. They look like this. And they're going to go, I believe they're on the outside. So the nut goes in the inside, and or the standoff for the nut goes on the inside, and then this here is for the press fit nut here on the outside here. And it's going to be hard to see because it's underneath the motor wire, but it's right there. So you can see that's the press fit nut there, and it's just long enough for that M2 screw. So that's it in terms of the build. It's not super complicated or anything like that, but you are going to need some hardware, additional hardware, to finish this build if you want to actually build this out and try it out. So I will have other videos on this one a little bit later. I'm going to build out this second one here. I'm still testing it out. I'm still trying to figure out what to do, what kind of camera mounts we should put on this, and what kind of cameras would be good to carry around on this. Still haven't figured all that out yet, but that'll be coming in future videos, and I'm going to build out the second one. And I really do want to know what you guys think of it. It would be a cool name for this. If you think that this is a pretty cool project and you want to try it out, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to contact me, if you have specific questions, you can also email me as well. I'll try and help you out if you want to put this together. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.